for me, the key things in any recording and being able to record at home is having a good space. So if that space is good and it sounds good, you don't necessarily need loads and loads of gear. Though really important if you could have a mic that suits your voice. So I had a mic that suited my voice, though I was I've got a very quite sibilant voice. There's a lot of sibilance coming out of me. Can you probably feel it now? The sibilance is pouring out of me. So I've got to be more careful in the future going forward with the kind of plugins I use. So having a good mic is really important that suits your voice. A good space, if you can get it, great. I think what's really made a jump up is getting yourself, if you can, a preamp. So you've got your audio interface. I've always liked Focusrite. I know they're kind of a bit basic for people, but they do the job really well. And I'm used to them and I like them. And I had, for the Soft Lad album, I had a really old, Focusrite 18i20, lots of inputs and lots of outputs. It's since died. That's the weird thing about Soft Lad, is I had an audio interface that was on its last legs. That died within a month of Soft Lad being completed. I had an old iMac that was about 15 years old, died. It was just hanging on. And I think the key, it died shortly after I finished recording. Dead to the world. You know, you couldn't raise this one up. It was gone. And I think what really helped me with recording Soft Lad was that the iMac was dying, the Focusrite was dying, but if I put too many tracks into the Mac, it would just crash. So I had to really start thinking about lessening the tracks that I used. So how do I do that? Aligned with really dodgy hands and fingers that have got sort of all kinds of problems with them, including the ability to grip for more than a second or two, or not at all. And that's where I used to write all my songs. That's where they started, on a guitar, improvising. What am I going to do? A friend, Gareth, Dave and Steve, people I knew, some online, some in person, some in between, said, why don't you try a U-bass? So it looks like a ukulele, so I guess it's ukulele bass. They have these kind of rubber strings. They might suit your inability to not be able to hold chords. I still can't at the moment. I hope it's going to come back, but I hope it comes back from wherever it comes, but at the moment it hasn't come. So I borrowed Gareth's U-bass. He let me use it for a week or two. And it was a bit of a revelation, because the thing about these U-basses, the ones with the rubber strings, is actually if you hold them, press them too hard, they make all sorts of horrible noises. But if you only press them by the minimalist of touch, you have to kind of hardly touch them, then they sound properly. Perfect. Hallelujah. For me, it was sort of then not having been able to record many tracks, not being able the ability to do much with my hands. So pressing the U-bass was so easy. And I've been listening to a lot of, I suppose, soul and funk from the 70s. I've returned to it after not listening to it for a while. A bit of chilled Balearic sounds. And that 70s sound became an inspiration for me. You're not going to listen to my album and go, oh, this sounds like it's 1970s. It doesn't. It sounds like me in 2026, 2020/2025. But yeah, that kind of stripped back sound really worked for the U bass. So I started the whole song. I wouldn't have a title. I wouldn't have any lyrics. I wouldn't have any particular inspiration of how the song was going to be. Whereas I would have perhaps once on starting with guitar, and I just started playing little repeated U bass lines, bit by bit, like in a cut and paste sort of style, for slicing style on people used to stick tape together. It was literally bit by bit, sometimes note by note. Very laborious way to do it, but actually it slowed me down. It stopped me adding too many things that weren't necessary. And sometimes they were just repeated loops. So I'd get it into a sort of short loop, 4, 8 bars, sometimes 16 bars or more, but cut it, all the notes together in those lengths, and then loop them round, maybe a change, maybe it didn't need a change. And that became the sort of style. Okay, can I write songs to bass lines? And that's where Soft Lead come about.